Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the den of Legacy Internet Radio. Again, thanking everybody who has been rocking with us tonight. Y'all rock with us. We roll with y'all every single Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio. Thanking the folks on TuneIn and on Streamer and legacyinternetradio.com. We appreciate you. Thank you and peace to the folks that are listening to our replays right now on YouTube, on iTunes. As we say every show, you rock with us. We roll with y'all. Our phone number to be a part of any discussion on any of our shows. We air 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Every single day, every single evening, there's some live programming here on Legacy Internet Radio. And if you want to be a part of it, 804-402-2893, www.legacyinternetradio.com. Very happy and excited to have an opportunity to speak with a dynamic, outstanding sister. She's an author and she's a poet. And we're going to talk with her about some outstanding works and things that she's done with herself. So it is my honor and pleasure to introduce to the listeners of Ain't No Half Step with Marcus J on Legacy Net Radio, our sister poetess, Cynthia Sherrell. How you doing, Miss Cynthia?
I'm doing good, Marcus. Thank you so much for having me here on your show this evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing outstanding. I appreciate having a chance to talk to you, and thank you for your kindness. As you know, before we got on the air and kind of the prep that we did, you know, I found you to be very kind and sweet. So I appreciate that, and I look forward to rapping to you tonight. You ready to rock and roll?
I am. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Well, you know, I'm one of those folks that I always like to kind of get to know the person that I'm chit-chatting with a little bit before I get into it. So I always like to ask questions around sports before I get to the real deal. So do you like sports? You care about sports? You're a sports fan at all?
I care about sports. I'm more of a basketball girl.
Yeah.
I don't have a favorite team, but I enjoy watching the game.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. I'm kind of getting into football a little bit, still kind of learning those plays and those different calls, and why they stop the game so many times. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I like football as well. Don't have a favorite team with that one either. Just enjoy watching the game.
In basketball, you may not have a favorite team, but do you have a favorite player? Do you have somebody you keep your eye on, see what that guy's doing, or that gal if you like WNBA?
Oh, my God. This is going to show you how off I am. Like, does Derrick Rose still play? I remember watching him, and I liked him.
He does. he does. He plays for my New York Knicks. I'm a New York Knicks fan, and he plays for my New York Knicks.
Yeah. Okay, and then Kevin Durant. Is that his name?
Yep, he just won the championship with the Golden State Warriors. So you know your stuff.
Okay, a little bit.
a little bit. Ain't no half step with Marcus J. Live from the Dan Legacy Internet Radio. So Cynthia, you're a poet and an author, aren't you?
I am.
Well, tell me about the first time that you actually did it when you felt like it was real, like not, you know, the school projects and stuff, but like the first time you started writing and it felt like it was real.
Oh, that's a really good question. I would have to say about the age of 20. I started writing maybe about 5 years before that, but at 20, I did a poem, like, you know, in front of people at someone's funeral. It was for their loved one, and they asked me to read a poem. And so I didn't know the person, but I had wrote a poem just based upon healing and the process of grief, and read it in front of a lot of people that I didn't know, and just how the people were touched by it. You know, it just really showed me how powerful and impactful my words are. And how they can connect even, you know, strangers to me, of course. But yeah, that's when it really felt real. And even at that point, I still wrote poetry. The reason why I wrote it was a place to escape. But then doing that, it showed me how comforting it was for other people. You know, my words were, and so it eventually I went down the path of publishing, you know, my first book, but that was many, many years after that time. But that's when it really felt real, just, you know, comforting others with my words through my gift of poetry. Yeah.
So that was the first time. I can dig it. I mean, it's a level of service to be
Hmm.
comforting some folks. And so let me ask you about service, and let me ask you about themes. Are there any running themes that typically go through your works, or are they all just eclectic and different from each other?
You know what? There is a theme. So in my first book baby, I call them my book babies because I birthed them. But in my first book baby, it's Ode to Tell the Story, Chronicles of an Afro-American Woman. And it really just, you know, it goes in detail the challenges that women face, the experiences that we have, and how they're all kind of universal. And it's the voice of a woman, looking at the world from the inside out. And so that kind of carried over into my second book, baby, which is This Way to Sunny. And that's a collection of love poems. And it dealt with love on many fronts, not just between a relationship between a woman and a man, but it dealt with love, inner love,
Right.
love for ourselves, love for our creator. And so with the last book, baby, Gemini Diaries, which is Heart of a Woman, that really talked about the connection between us as individuals and our creator. And it really highlighted in detail my journey of spiritual evolution. And so if I would say that there is a theme, and I would have to say that the theme is really growth. It's really healing from within. It's really love, evolution. They all tell a different story, but it's the same consistent theme of those things. So love, growth.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you've got quite quite a bit of passion for all of
Yeah.
this, almost as if you're a life coach.
Yeah. And
Tell me
actually
about
I
that.
am. I have a spiritual life coaching practice titled Dare to Dream. And that vision, that baby was birthed over 7 years ago. I was in leadership at the time at a Fortune 500 company, and just seeing the effects of what seemed simple to me, for coming up with solutions and answers to challenges, seeing how it positively impacted my employees' lives. And it made them want to come to work. Most people, they don't want to go to work. It's
No,
like work,
right.
now I would rather be home. But from there, just looking at how my insight, my wisdom, my experience, how those things impacted individuals in a positive way, and just looking back in my history of even in high school, how I was called upon by strangers to help them work through things. I remember there was a young lady who found herself pregnant at 15, and we were in the same class, but we didn't really communicate or talk with each other. But she sought me out for guidance, and I had never been in that position. And so I kind of thought it was odd that she sought me out, but there was something about me that drew her to me. And so I, guided her through the process of talking to her mom, coping with the fact that she is, going to be a teen mom. And just in my adult life, just remembering all those experiences of coaching people through experiences and situations that seemed insurmountable. I knew that it was my calling to do this as my full-time work. And so that's what I do. And Dare to Dream, it's about supporting individuals who feel powerless in their lives, who feel like they have no options and hopeless and despondent, and showing them how to tap into that inner power, which will change their whole outer world. And so that's what I do. And I do it through a myriad of ways: coaching programs. I do teleseminars, webinars. I have sister circles that I host called Daring Daughters. And it's for those ladies who, will dare to dream, will dare to step outside of their comfort zone and be who they are at the very foundation of the essence of their being.
Right.
And so I support them in that, and just working through some challenges. And it's my life's work. I love that. And so if I wanted to combine my passion for, well, let me say this, my gift of healing. And so I have a gift of healing and an intuitive gift where I can hear what's not being said. I can pick up on your energy and just be able to decipher and really understand a person with minimal, words. And so that has supported me in coaching hundreds of people and changing their lives. And instead of having an emotional breakdown, helping them to manage their emotions. And so, Dare to Dream, that's my heart. I'm also a visionary. And so through Dare to Dream, I host vision board workshops. And each workshop has a theme. And so like next month on the 1st, the theme will be catering to entrepreneurs and authors and business owners who want to take their business to a higher level. And my gift of being able to help people get clear, bring about clarity. It helps you hone in really on what you want, what you desire to see happen, and what you're willing to do to make it happen. And so, and I think it all ties in because with my poetry, in the sister circles, we have conversations, and there's a poem that I have that will be sharing at my upcoming sister circle about identity crisis. When we go through things in life, we're used to life being one way, and then things just shift unexpectedly, and it can cause you to lose your footing. It could cause you to lose who you are, and you feel like you're looking for yourself in your life, even though you woke up to the same life yesterday. And so the books, they offer a way in. It's like a way in to have good conversation and great dialogue. And so, Dare to Dream, that's my heart, as well as my books and all the things that I do, photography, whatever it is.
Do you find that it's difficult to write the books versus, because you're a columnist as well for Faith Heart Magazine and E-Latin Gospel Magazine. Do you find that it's different when you sit down pen to paper when you're writing books versus when you're writing columns?
Kind of, sort of. It's actually more difficult to me writing the poetry. Well, let me say it this way, trying to transition from writing articles to poetry, because in poetry you can come at it however you feel. There's really grammatical errors and all of that really don't exist to me in poetry. And so sometimes my mind is still in that columnist mindset, and I overthink my poetry, and it doesn't flow out as easily as I would like it to. That's a challenge that I have. With the columns, it's really another platform for spiritual life coaching. And so I approach those with challenges that either I have faced or clients have faced, and I offer coaching tips. And it's it allows me to do it in a storyteller way, because I am a storyteller and I've yet to publish that novel, but I enjoy both. But I think that it is definitely a challenge coming from the columnist to the poet, because I'm stuck in this analytical place of overthinking things, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense. And, just as you were saying it, I'm not a writer, I'm not a poet, but, my degree is in journalism, so I understand a little bit about the writing process. And the answer that you gave me is very similar to what I was thinking, because my guess is when you're in the creative process flows, just comes. You just write because it's creative, it's in your mind, and it flows out. Whereas when you have a column, there may be, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to overspeak here, but I would guess that there's going to be themes, that you would be more, you're more tasked with writing around a theme as opposed to writing around the creative process, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that when I'm writing a piece, the process for it evolving in my mind and in my heart is totally different with each one. With the poems, when I'm writing poetry, I can see something. This is if I hadn't written a column in a while. I can see something and it'll come just quickly, and I'll hear it and I could just, write it out. Whereas with the columns, I have to um, meditate on the theme to really get into the feeling nature of it so that I can go to a place where I know it exists within and pull it out and present, the best, most beautiful creation possible.
Right.
So it's a different process in that aspect as well.
Right.
Of right.
Tell the listeners, first of all, ain't no half step on Marcus J live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio, speaking with our sister poetess Cynthia Sherrell. Is also a life coach, and she's doing a wave of outstanding things. Tell us about how folks could purchase your books or connect with you, because I'm hearing a very dynamic sister that folks from coast to coast need to be able to build and bond with, because it's going to be beneficial to you if you do. So how can the listeners connect with you?
Absolutely. I am on Facebook. You can find me there under Poetess Cynthia Sherrell, or you can go to my business page, which is Dare to Dream Spiritual Life Coaching Practice. I also have a website, which is CynthiaSNewell.com. And there on that website, you'll find all of my upcoming events. You'll find attachments to the articles that I have written. And you'll get to learn, a lot more about me. And then you can also reach me by email at emailcoachcynthia@gmail.com. And one of the things that I do also, Marcus, that I didn't share is I do offer dream interpretation, and so if someone that's listening has a recurring dream that they just can't understand what it's saying to you, or you have a dream that when you woke up from this dream, you still felt that dream and you know that it had a significant message for you, but you just don't know what that message was.
Yep.
I can support you in that way as well. And you can just email me at emailcoachcynthia@gmail.com, and we can, talk about what your dream is saying to you and where it applies in your waking life. That's really key and essential to decoding dreams and understanding those symbols. Where does this show up in my waking life? What is it saying? How does it apply to when I'm woke? So that's how people can contact me. I'm on Periscope. I get on Periscope often. You can find me under Cynthia S. Newell. You can find me on Twitter under Cynthia S. Newell or Dare to Dream. Google Cynthia S. Newell. So I'm all on those platforms under Cynthia S. Newell, even LinkedIn. We could connect there. So yeah, that's how you can get a hold of me.
No, I came away fascinated. You may be hearing from me on that dream stuff, because I've had different variety of recurring dreams over the years, and there's a certain few that persist with me that I've always had. And now, being in my 40s, I still have some that I've had, my entire life, and some that I used to have in the past that I don't have any longer. So the dream stuff, when you said that, obviously, all of what you said has certainly got my attention, but that one piqued my interest because, I know if it's something that I'm thinking and feeling, then I cannot be alone. There's other folks that feel the same way.
Exactly. Maybe we could do a show on that, helping people to understand what some common symbols and those meanings of those symbols and how you can tie it into your waking life. I would love to come back and be a guest and offer that, to your listeners. I also have an ebook that you can purchase on my website that, will be a roadmap to you to understand how to decipher your dreams, the coding, the meanings, where it applies. That's available on my website as well. And you asked me how people can purchase my books.
Yes.
And they can do that at my website, and they can also purchase the books on Amazon. But if you want an autographed copy, you want to get it from my website. That way I can send the special to you and send it on out to you.
Okay. So basically, we go to the website and we can get copies of the books, as well as have access to contacting you and kind of seeing what you're doing and all those kinds of things. So it sounds to me like the website is kind of the center hub. I mean, there's other areas as well you mentioned, but the website, my guess, is the center hub. So if the listeners didn't catch exactly the other areas, if they go to the website, they'd be able to see everything else.
Yes, they can.
Okay.
They can.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Give us the website one more time.
I'm sorry, it's CynthiaSNewell.com. And Newell is spelled Newell. So Cynthia S like Sherrell and then Newell.com.
You got it. Ain't no half stepping. We're Marcus J, live from the den of Legacy Internet Radio. I have just had an outstanding time having this conversation with you, Cynthia. It's been fun. It's been enlightening. When I did my homework and saw that not only were you an outstanding poet and author, that you were also a life coach, I said, I'm looking forward to having this conversation, and you did not disappoint. Outstanding, dynamic,
Wonderful,
and
wonderful,
outstanding.
wonderful. It's been a great opportunity to be here and to speak with you. I love what you're doing and how you're supporting our community, using your gifts, and your talent. So, kudos to you, Mr. Marcus.
Well, thank you. Hold the line for me for just a moment. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den of Legacy Internet Radio. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial. Be a part of the discussion. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we got more to show. You're listening to the flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio. You rock with us. We will roll with y'all. Be back in a few, y'all. Stay with us.